Hello friends, this is Hatim Rampurawala, and in this video we will revise, that is, we will do a quick recap in less than 5 minutes of SA 500, that is audit evidence. So let's start without wasting any second. Meaning, it is divided into 4 parts, this essay. That is meaning and the nature of an audit evidence, auditor's duty when information to be used as an audit evidence. Third is audit procedure and the method of obtaining. So what is the audit procedure and what are the method he uses for obtaining an audit evidence, and then the concept of the reliability of an audit evidence. So we'll start with the meaning and the nature of an audit evidence. First, meaning and the nature, that is the information. What is audit evidence? That is, it is an information used by an auditor in arriving at a conclusion on which an auditor opinion is based. Nature of an audit evidence is the measure of an audit is affected, that the sufficiency, that is that we will decide the measure of the quality, the relevance, the reliability in providing the support for the conclusion on such opinion is based. Nature of an audit evidence. Nature of an auditor should obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. Sufficiency is the measure of an quantity of an audit evidence. It is affected by the risk of material misstatement and the quality of an audit evidence. And appropriateness of an audit evidence means is a measure of the quality of an audit evidence. It is based on the relevance and the reliability in providing the support for the conclusion. Then the second concept is the auditor's duty when information to be used as an audit evidence. Information prepared using the auditor. What is the auditor's duty in information to be used as an audit evidence? It is divided into two, that is information prepared using the work of the management expert and information provided by the entity. So we'll first see information prepared using the work of the management expert. It is divided into three, that is, first we will evaluate the competency, capability and objectivity of an expert. So for how we will evaluate the competency, that is the source information for evaluation of the competency capability. What is the source information? That is, first is personal experience with the previous work, discussion with an expert, discussion with others, knowledge of the expert's qualification. So what is the expert qualification? Membership and other form of recognition. Published, that is the expert published books and papers. And auditors, what the auditor will do, he will consult the auditor's expert for knowing the competency, capability and objectivity of the management experts. Here we are that is, we are evaluating the competency, capability and objectivity of the management expert. So we are done. That is, first, what is the source of information? First, personal experience with the previous work, personal experience. Then discussion with an expert, discussion with other, knowledge of the expert qualification, membership, other form of recognition, published books and the papers. And what we can say, auditors, we will consult our auditors expert. Then we have to obtain an understanding of an expert work. How we can obtain an understanding? That is, first, area of specialty, that is, what is the area of specialty of an auditor's expert. Then second, applicable professional standards on the expert. Then legal and regulatory requirement on the experts. So what is specialty, what is the and whether there are any professional standards applicable on the auditors, on the management expert. Then legal and regulatory requirement, assumptions and method used, and the nature of the source data used. And last is evaluate the appropriateness of the expert work. The audit, so now the expert has performed his part of work. So now auditor will evaluate whether that information, that is the data of the work of the expert, can be used by an auditor or not. So that is, first, finding and conclusion. It should be relevance. So there should be relevance, reasonableness and consistency with an other audit evidence. Then assumption method, it should be relevant and reasonable. Source data, relevance, it should be relevance. Source data should be relevance, complete. There should be completeness of the source data and accuracy of the source data. So finding and conclusion, that is relevance, reasonableness and consistency. Assumptions and the method, relevance and reasonableness. And the source data, that is, it should be relevance, completeness and accurate. Then information produced by the entity. So what was the heading? Basically, auditors duty. Okay, so the second part in this, that is the auditors auditor's duty when the information to be used as an audit evidence, that is information produced by the entity. The information which is produced by the entity, first we should obtain an audit evidence about the accuracy and the completeness of the information. That is, the auditor should obtain audit evidence about the accuracy and the completeness of the information and evaluate whether the information is sufficient. So first he will do he will obtain an understanding, that is accuracy, obtain the audit evidence about the accuracy and the completeness of the information and evaluate whether the information is sufficiently and precise and detailed for the auditor's purpose. So he will evaluate whether the information which has been produced by the entity is sufficient, precise and detailed for the auditor's purpose. Then the third part, that is audit procedure and the method for obtaining an audit evidence. So what are the audit procedure to obtain an audit evidence? First, risk assessment procedure. Second, further audit procedure, that is the responses of the risk assessment procedure. In that it is divided into two, that is the test of control and substantive procedure. Substantive procedure is further divided into test of detail and substantive analytical procedure. Okay, so what are the procedures? Risk assessment procedure, further assessment procedure. In that, test of control, substantive procedure is further divided into test of details and substantive analytical procedure. And the methods of obtaining an audit evidence, that is inspection, observation, external reconfirmation, recalculation, reperformance, analytical procedure and the inquiry, that is oral or the written. Then the last concept is the reliability of an audit evidence. This is also much simpler concept and we can say important as well. Okay, so it is there are 5 points in it. External evidence are considered to be more reliable than the internal audit evidence. The reliability of an internal evidence increases when the related internal control imposed by the entity are effective. So external are more relevant than internal. External evidence are more reliable than the internal, and internal will be reliable if the internal control imposed are effective. Then the audit evidence obtained directly by the auditor is more reliable than the audit evidence obtained indirectly. So directly by the auditor is more relevant than indirectly. Then audit evidence in the documentary form is more reliable than the audit evidence in the oral form. And audit evidence provided by the original documents is more reliable than the audit evidence provided by the photocopies. So it is like first point in reliability of an audit evidence is external is more reliable than internal. Internal is increases internal evidence, reliability of internal evidence increases when the related control are effective. Then the audit evidence obtained directly by the auditor is more reliable than the obtained through indirectly. Documentary is more reliable than oral, and original photocopies are original is more reliable than the photocopies. Okay, so we are done with this entire essay. Thank you.